Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. I'm down here at Barangaroo today, just beneath the Crown Casino, that magnificent building that has recently won an international award. The first building in Australia to have won an international award, being recognised as one of the most beautiful office buildings in the world. Anyway, it's Saturday morning, it's before 6am, and I find myself heading to work. But before I indulge in a day's work, what I'd love to do is do the thing that I enjoy most, and that's delivering a book summary on Jim's 5am Club, where we can hopefully learn something new and incorporate a few new life hacks into our daily schedule. Learn a few things that will make us better for today and better for our futures. So the book summary that I plan to deliver is entitled The Book of Mistakes by an author known as Pritchard. An interesting title and a powerful book indeed. I've learned a few new things today, and hopefully I can live, learn and pass them on to my friends and family, and to anybody else who happens to stumble across this vlog. So I think this vlog is going to be numbered 1425. So I'm quickly moving along the path of getting to 1500 vlogs in English. And I never thought it was going to be possible. It's been a significant investment in time on my behalf, but it's been a labour of love, as I've learnt quite a bit. And not only have I learnt quite a bit, that learning has been reinforced by teaching and passing it on. So without a further ado, let's continue along our way and see what we can pick out of this book, what morsels, what gems we can mine and savour. So the author kicks off the book with a powerful point where he says that success is the result of consistently and purposefully doing the uncomfortable. Like, this is a real gem of a point, especially for young people who want to get through life unscarred, untested, and take the easy road. But what the author here is saying is that success indeed is the expression of continually doing things, taking action, but doing things which are uncomfortable. So the author then goes on to indicate and suggest that by leaning outside your comfort zone, you are doing things that are new and different, relatively new and different all the time. Things that you haven't done before, or things that are an extension of things that you've done before. But what you're going to be doing is you need to be getting comfortable with the fact that you're going to be doing things that are unfamiliar, and you are going to be making mistakes all the time. Because as we said, you're going to be doing things that you haven't done before, that you're not comfortable with, you're not familiar with, and this in itself means that you're going to be walking along a path which is unfamiliar, which is unknown, which is daunting. But with that, you need to understand that this is the currency that you need to pay in order to gain familiarity and to build your skills and to open the various doors of success along the way. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make some big mistakes. We need to understand that. We need to appreciate it. But we mustn't worry about it, is a key learning from this author. And to understand that pain and suffering and disappointment along the way is to be expected, and it's something that you should use as a stepping stone for future adventures, as opposed to worrying about it and hiding from it. What I'll do is I'll head back down here, because there is a bit of a breeze blowing up here, and it will cause some buffering on the mic. So let me take refuge over here in the wharf area, so I can continue my vlog uninterrupted. So just bear with me for the time being. Put my bag down there. So what are the key learnings? Another learning here is that nobody has been to the future. We need to understand this. And each person, another important point, each person will have lived a different past, will be living a different present, a different now. I am here, you are somewhere else. Even if you were here, you'd have a different perspective from what I have. I'm facing this way, you could be facing this way and have a different perspective, or you could be facing anywhere and seeing something completely different and experiencing something completely different. And in addition to that, we're all going to live and experience a completely different tomorrow, a different future. So no two people are going to live the same life. No two people are going to have an inventory of exactly the same experiences. No two people are going to have the same worldview. Even if you're a Siamese twin, you're going to potentially have a different worldview to your other twin, because each and every one of us interpret things differently, see things differently, feel things differently, and we're different from each other, for each other. It's important to understand that point, that although we may be different from each other, the reason why we're different from each other is so that we can be different for each other, to use that difference to complement and supplement each other's strengths and weaknesses. So the author's saying that we need to get comfortable with making mistakes, we need to be comfortable with being different, and we need to try and embrace it and use it to our benefit. And as I learnt many years ago, nobody has been to the future. We are all tracking along our paths, heading to our future, but nobody has been to the future, and there is no roadmap to our future. There's no rule set to follow, and there's nobody really here to guide us to our future other than ourselves. The author, though, in his book does come up with 9 mistakes. Even though we're all going to make mistakes, the author basically suggests that there are a number of mistakes, or 9 key mistakes, that one must try and avoid. And by understanding what these potential mistakes could be, is an opportunity to, I guess, put on our radar, put on our map, the things that we should be careful of on our life's journey. So the key messages to come from this book are as follows. So we're only going to go through 3 of them. We're not going to go through every single learning from this book. We're just going to cover the key ones, the ones that have got the most or will have, potentially may have the most impact on our lives, and the ones that that we can focus on at least and incorporate into our daily schedule and our daily lifestyle. So the first message from this author is that we need to define our own values, and these values are the ones that are going to work for us. There's no use trying to live everybody else's values unless they are, they work for you, I guess is the key point. So we need to first of all define our own values and ditch the excuses that we come up with, because excuses, according to this author, are the silent killer. The excuses, the if-onlys. The people who say, if only I was wealthy, if only I was younger, if only I was educated, if only I was healthier, if only I had more time, if only, if only, if only. What we've got to understand, according to this author, is that in order to prosper, we need to rid ourselves of these excuses, these silent killers, because we need to make the most of what we've got right here and now, and not to plan too far into the future, and not to live in our pasts, is what the author is basically getting to. And to understand that life is forever changing. Life is not going to stay still for anybody. And as we know on a daily basis, people change, jobs change, economies change, countries, alliances, and all of those things are constantly changing. And if you're depending on things staying the same, then guess what? You are going to be bitterly disappointed throughout your life, because change is the status quo. So we need to be flexible in our approach, be ready to alter, to make different, to have options, to understand the first, second and third level consequences of our actions and decisions, and to know that things aren't always going to work out as we planned and as we want, and to be happy regardless of how things work out, but to be ready to change, to be ready to improve, to be ready to do things slightly differently, to keep us on track even though the track or the road is evolving before our very, very eyes, and to know that it's not the end of the road, it usually is only a bend in the road. So for those who are walking along a winding road, there are many times along that journey where we look and think that the road is ending. But as we move along that path, what we realize is it's not the end, but a bend. And to know that everybody's lives are going to be characterized by changes, dramatic changes, life-changing changes. But we just need to go with the flow. And as long as we know what our values are, we have our goals in place, then what we can do is we can just readjust our sails turn the rudder a little bit in order to head in the direction that we've set ourselves. So we need to know our values, and we must define our own values. What is valuable to us? And be aligned to them with our actions and with everything that we do, with our thought patterns, and to work on our dreams and not to work on the dreams of others. It's important to live your life. It's important to achieve your dream. It's important for each and every one of us to look after ourselves first, because by looking after ourselves first, then and only then we can be in a position to look after and to nurture and to support the others in our lives. So fight for your mission is what the author is saying. Don't be distracted from your mission, from your goals, from your dreams, and to, work and stay on the path of those dreams, as long as they're worthy dreams, and they're dreams, as we said, that are totally aligned to your values. And you can change your values at any time. If you see that things aren't working for you, if you see that your values aren't supporting you or nurturing you or giving you purpose and meaning in life, at any point in time you can change your values, you can change what you're doing. There's no set rules in terms of having to continue to do things if they are not serving you, if they're not making you happy, if they're not getting you to the place that you ultimately want to be. So the next point that the author makes is that we need to get out of our comfort zone, and to know that we're going to meet positive and negative people throughout our lives, and we can learn from both. But most importantly is the fact that we're going to be making mistakes, lots of mistakes over time, and to expect to be making mistakes and to use those mistakes, to leverage those mistakes, those failures, because they are ultimately going to be our stepping stones to our success and our future. And to be an option thinker, to have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C ready to execute at any point in time, rather than to be too fixed in our ways and to get disappointed all the time. Just to know that things are going to be changing. Failure is a natural part of life, and once you define what your dream is, then you just need to stay on that path and avoid, this is an important point, we must, where possible, avoid the unlucky and the unhappy. Let go of them to help them and to help yourself. This is a powerful point. There are going to be people in our lives that are going to be always unhappy and always unlucky. Some of them you can help, but many of them you can't help, because it's their attitude, it's their world view that is making them both unhappy and unlucky, their attitude. So what the author's call to action here is to be tough on yourself and to be tough on those around you. If people don't respect you, if people don't align with your value set, then you don't have to spend too much time with them, because what will happen is sooner or later each and every one of us will eventually become the average of the half dozen people that we hang out with most, and we need to be, very selective, very diligent in terms of who we want to hang out with, because it will rub off on you and steal your dreams and also impact their dreams as well. So as we say, we need to work on our dreams, not the dreams of others, and to fight for our mission and to define our dreams, avoid, let go of the unhappy, the unlucky, and to understand that failure is a natural part of growth. We need to embrace it, but we also need to make sure that we're hanging out with people who are not going to be rubbing our nose in our failures all the time. We need to be hanging out with people who understand that failure is a natural part of life and to support us through those disappointments and to make sure that we don't carry that burden negatively, but to see it as an opportunity to grow and develop. So we need to expect failure, we need to be proud of it, we need to embrace it and to understand that it's a natural part of growth. And what the author here suggests and calls to action is that we need to examine it and learn from it, and to understand that there are two types of worldview. There's a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. The growth mindset understands that in order to get from A to B, we're going to go through puddles, we're going to go through potholes, we're going to go through over and under and through barriers along the way, but to understand that we need to keep on going, and it's just a normal part of our growth and development path. So what else can we learn from this author? We need to be able to try a different approach. We need to be flexible in our approach and not too rigid. What they're saying is be rigid with your goals, be rigid with your values, as long as they serve you, but be very flexible in your approach. And the last point to come from this book is where the author says that time is valuable and we need to make the most of our time in our lives. And this was quite interesting. I didn't quite know this, but Steve Jobs was actually fired from Apple early in his career because he wasn't a good fit. That's amazing. But it's okay to be different, as long as the difference that you have is a different vision, your ability to look well into the future. I'm just looking down here and I can see Liz Ellis as the name that this ferry boat has been dedicated to. And I remember many years ago when my daughters were very young, even before their netball careers, that we actually got an opportunity to meet Liz Ellis. Just goes to show that some people are continued to be celebrated, and yet most people would probably see Liz as Ellis and not know who Liz Ellis was or is. Anyway, let's continue here. So being different is okay, according to this author, and we need to push the boundaries. Great leaders are the ones who continue to push the boundaries and to confront a society's norms and not necessarily to conform to the norms all the time. I remember years ago reading a book which was the biography of Kathy Freeman. And Michael Johnson, the Olympic champion, met up with Kathy at one point, and he told Kathy, he says, Kathy, you know, you're a rebel without a cause, and by being rebellious before you become successful, what it does is it brings out the lion in other people, in establishments. And he said, what you need to learn is you need to become successful before you become rebellious, and not the other way around. So he told Kathy, basically, pull your head in, train hard, practice, and achieve first. And after you achieve the things that you want to achieve and that fully express who you are, then you can be as rebellious as you want. But if you're becoming rebellious just for the sake of being rebellious, what you're going to do is you're going to create distractions in your life. You're going to have people throw barriers on your road or in your path because you're a threat to the status quo, you're a threat to the system. So his advice to her was to pull her head in, get the job done, and then when you've got the job done and you've got people wanting to listen to you, wanting to pay attention to you, then you can deliver your message of rebellion or whatever you want to do, because people will be listening from that point on. And the last offer from this author is a beautiful point where he says that we live in a world of abundance. We live in a world of tremendous abundance, and there's more than enough to go around, and there are unlimited, listen to that, unlimited possibilities. And most importantly, because we live in a world of abundance where there are unlimited possibilities, everywhere you look there are opportunities to grow and develop, just like down here at Barangaroo. This was an unknown part of Sydney, an unwanted and unloved part of Sydney. But when you look around now, within the past decade, you've had all of these magnificent buildings go in and redefine this whole space and made it the most beautiful part of Sydney. So just like Barangaroo, we all have unlimited possibilities, unlimited opportunities in our lives to do and to achieve our goals and dreams. And just as I'm saying that, there's this magnificent rainbow just appearing on this wonderful Saturday. So the last point that comes from this author is that don't wait for things to be perfect before you start before you're ready. Otherwise you'll never start and you'll never achieve anything in your life. Take care everybody, wishing you all the best on this magnificent Saturday morning, this spring day in Sydney, and hopefully this rainbow will bring you all of your hopes and all of your dreams. Take care, with love from Dimitri on Jim's 5am Club. Bye for now, and God bless.